Yo, I like to joke from this. Do you know Lysol kills 99.9% of germs? Okay, so you guys have seen all my recent episodes lately. Of course, because it's Chris Nutt. So today we're going to talk about photosynthesis. This grass, it's up, now plants grow and give us oxygen. And we're also going to talk about cellular respiration. Okay, some people wonder how plants get to be so big. You see, the water that comes down from the sky enters through the root of the plant. Then it travels from cell to cell by a cortex motion called osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of water without using energy. Now my friend Sean will demonstrate. Okay, so you see water is all good and well for the plant, but they also need carbon dioxide to survive. Carbon dioxide is what we exhale. So, the carbon dioxide goes through the outer part of the leaf called the stomata. Then it diffuses through the small holes, which allows oxygen to leave the plant. Without oxygen, humans and animals cannot live on this planet. So, people, you might be wondering, what is photosynthesis and how does it work? You see, photosynthesis only takes place in plant cells, in things called chloroplasts, and in chloroplasts contains little tiny green things called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs the sun's light energy, which today there's no sun because Mr. Sun couldn't make it. Okay, and that's how photosynthesis works. Okay, people, you see, the sunlight energy is very important to photosynthesis. Photosynthesis only occurs when green plants uses the sun's energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose. Glucose is a simple sugar that is important to many living organisms and is an important component in carbohydrates. Like all living things, there has to be a waste. For plants, it's oxygen. Oxygen is what they give out. Oxygen is what we breathe. You see, here's a leaf, and on the leaf is a stomata. The oxygen exits the plant through the stomata, which in the end gives us oxygen in order to live on this planet. Plants make sugar, and for some reason, I don't know why, but they make a lot of sugar. And some people may be wondering what it does with all of it. You see, the glucose in the plant is transported around the plant as soluble sugars, which then the glucose is used in the plant's cellular respiration, which we will talk about later on. Photosynthesis is very important to life on this earth. Without photosynthesis, plants wouldn't be able to grow, and then in that case, plants wouldn't be able to give us oxygen. Oxygen is very important to the human body, and plus the plants provide sugars, and we need that. The sugars, called glucose, is very important to our body because it's able to give us energy to move on through the day. Hi. Now kids, you may be wondering, what is cellular respiration that we mentioned earlier in the video? Well, cellular respiration, I didn't do that. Okay kids, now we're going to talk about cellular respiration, and I know you guys are thinking, what in tarnation is cellular respiration? Well, cellular respiration is a set of metabolic reactions and processes that take place in cells of organisms to convert biochemical energy from nutrients to iodine triphosphate and waste products. Respiration is a very important key to chemical energy to fuel cellular activity. And this all takes place in the mitochondria. The mitochondria is in all types of cells. Glucose is an important part of cellular respiration. Glucose enters the human body through carbohydrates in food. We digest the carbohydrates, which leads into our body. That's how glucose enters the human body. It's actually a pretty fun way, but if you think about it closely and you actually look at it, it's really disgusting. Oxygen is such a wonderful thing in this earth. Oh, frick, I forgot. Oxygen is such a lovely thing to stuff in this plant. Oxygen is very important to cells. Oxygen reaches the cells by a process called diffusion. Diffusion is the intermingling of substances but without using energy in order to move. Stupid leaf. Shut up, Sean.
We're still recording.
Okay, people. So earlier in the program, we mentioned a thing called iodine triphosphate. Okay, children. So earlier in the program, we mentioned something called iodine triphosphate, also known as ATP. ATP is the primary energy source for living organisms on Earth. Microorganisms store up the food and light energy in the form of ATP. ATP is important because it stores up energy to make the plant have multiple chemical reactions. Hey, little boy, is that a plant you see?
Yes, it is. Bill and I.
See, where do you think ATP is important? Because it helps the plant get chemical reactions.
Yes, it definitely is.
Okay, great. We mentioned earlier in the video, we told you guys that almost everything has a waste product. And for cellular respiration, the waste product is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is what we breathe out. Also, water is a waste product too. People can remove water by peeing or sweating. Now, to wrap up this amazing episode of Chris and I, the Science Guy, we will show you and tell you more about the equations of photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Let's start off with photosynthesis first. You see, photosynthesis, closer, has carbon dioxide and then adds water, or H2O, and it also needs sunlight to create the process of photosynthesis. Those are what we call the reactants. And the reactants, they make what we call products. The products is glucose, or C6, H12, and O6 make glucose, plus oxygen, which we need to breathe. Now, for cellular respiration, we have glucose plus oxygen are the reactants, and the products are carbon dioxide, H2O, and ATP, also known as iodine triphosphate. The equations for photosynthesis and cellular respiration are very similar. One, because they use the same elements. Two, they make energy as the products. And three, they are both essential to life. Yes, we may have talked about the similarities for both equations, but the difference is photosynthesis only occurs in plants. Cellular respiration happens in plants, animals, and humans. Photosynthesis and cellular respiration are both needed for each other. The products of photosynthesis is the reactants of cellular respiration, and the products of cellular respiration is the reactants of photosynthesis. So in the end, they both need each other to survive. And if they didn't have either one of them, we wouldn't be here today. Okay, people, you might be wondering how and what photosynthesis works. See, photosynthesis only happens in plant cells. Get that out of the way. In tiny okay, so people, you might be wondering what and how photosynthesis works. So people, you might be wondering how and what photosynthesis is. See, photosynthesis works is it only happens in plant cells. Okay. And things called chloroplasts. And in chloroplasts, there are tiny green things that are called chlorophyll. You may be wondering what and how photosynthesis works. Photosynthesis only takes place in plant cells, called little things. Okay. See, plants make sugar for some reason, and I don't know why. But you may be wondering what it does with all that sugar. You see, the glucose made by photosynthesis travels around the plant as soluble sugars, which in the end, the glucose is. Now, we're going to talk about cellular respiration, and I know your kids are going to be thinking, what in tarnation is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is a set of metabolic reactions and processes that take place in cells of organisms to convert biochemical energy from nutrients into iodine and triphosphate, the waste products. So, respiration is an important key to chemical energy, which releases fuel for the blank right now. I